found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
I got to confess to you, okay? I got to confess a couple things to you. First of all, happy July 1. You know what this means, right? Last month of 2025 till we have college football season. I don't know if you're aware of that. Laura told me several weeks back, she said, you really ought to take this week off. And I told her, I don't ever take time off. So, why would I take this week off? So I'm asking Matt and Bri today in our pre-production meeting that we have each and every day before we jump on here. This is not just done nilly-willy. If you go look, our blog today has several thousand words. We're getting ready to report on some commitments that our recruiting bureau thinks is coming. X was supposed to join us today, but is now indisposed. He sends his regards. Maybe tomorrow we'll visit with our Tennessee football recruiting analyst, a.k.a. Sexy Exy. But I want to encourage you to go over to tclub.team. I also would like to encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. Today on the blog, you'll see that Robert Kowalski, who's the odds maker for VIP play, and a guy who knows his stuff. This is a guy that has done some, all the odds makers in Vegas do a thing where they pick games by the spread. He won it 2 years ago. He was up high last year. this guy knows his stuff now. And he was going to join us today, but he can't because it's the season of the sticks, and I forgot that you exist, and so here we are. Brian Hartman and Matt Dixon are here. We're going to break it down scientifically with you. Matt, are you fired up, focused, prepared? Do you have any special plans for the fourth weekend? Will you be here on Thursday for our final show, where we do a special program on Thursday because we're gonna celebrate our independence, looking back at the Butch Jones era and ridiculing him on Thursday. Thoughts on it?
Well, after hearing that, I'm for sure gonna be on. Absolutely.
We're gonna run Lunch Break Luke's. Champions of Life lineage in the blog. This is a trophy, a mythical trophy that changed hands multiple times. When I grew up in Philadelphia, they used to always talk about the Big Five. these teams play each other, and they called it the City Series, and so it's a mythical trophy. And Matt, they used to call the national championship in football like a mythical national championship because it wasn't played on the field; it was voted on. And so it's in that vein that Lunch Break Luke has done what he's done, and so kudos to him. What do you guys want to talk about today? Brian, you first. You produce.
How about Tony Vols going to the right house this time, unlike Jeremy Pruitt, and getting Landon Mack to flip from LSU to Tennessee?
Hey, Matt Dixon, your thoughts on Landon Daddy Mack, Big Daddy Kane? Your thoughts on that, Matt?
I think it's a huge pickup for Tennessee. Had really good numbers at Rutgers, and think he can kind of explode in a way, kind of like Chase Dolander did a few years ago here at Tennessee. So I think it's a huge pickup. It's a guy that's going to be in your weekend rotation, probably from the jump next year. So it's a huge pickup. Probably I guess he was their top pitching portal target, and they found a way to land him.
Really big get.
The
thing about a guy like that is he's got 2 years to pitch, so which in that sport's an eternity.
Yeah, like Dolander, 2 years, yeah.
And he's a guy, Matt, that for you could see them probably plugging him in. I mean, you hate to project this, but if it goes the way they think it's going to go, he's probably your Friday starter. His control, utterly masterful at that level. And when you already have what he has, there's no telling what Frank Anderson and that staff will do with him. This is a guy who, when you start looking at him, one of the best strikeout to walk ratios, 70 Ks on the year in 15 starts or 14 starts to only 17 walks. Less than 2 walks, Matt, per 9 innings. Is that any good? And won't be eligible till the 2027 draft. Is that any good?
Oh, it's really good. Better numbers than Dolander had at Georgia Southern that year and against similar competition. So no, he's a guy who's had a good workload as well. So you kind of can project ahead and fine tune some things, increase his velo, develop the slider a little bit more, which Frank Anderson does, and then see what happens. I think he's a guy who, again, a frontline starter in the SEC for 2 years, and then should be a high round draft pick.
So the Vols right now, this is the way football recruiting goes for the initiated, but generally football recruiting around here in the Heupel era has been a deal where it goes dormant for a few months and then pop. Starts popping like popcorn. Tennessee, according to our recruiting bureau, and this is Sexy Exy, etc., is poised to pick up Jackson Academy, Mississippi teammates T.J. White and Darion Albert. Both guys are 4-star prospects. Both are sought after by other Southeastern Conference schools, have pretty respectable visit lists. And I'll let Sean Sinclair and X wax poetically on this tomorrow. I try to stay in my lane on this stuff. Generally, when it comes to recruits, and this is a very shallow way of looking at it, but I think across most of these collegiate sports, you can pretty much get a pretty good example of what kind of player you're getting by somebody's visit or offer list. And then invariably, who does it come down to? End of the Butch Jones tenure, Matt, we were involved. We were beating guys like Maryland and William and Mary for people. Generally, you're not going to win when you're getting those guys. I mean, I'm not a big expert When you start beating Northwestern for kids, probably not going to bet on you succeeding. Just kind of saying here. Ohio State, yes.
Got to beat the big guys, yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to see that you've got offers from, commensurate Southeastern Conference type programs. And here's the other thing. Like we were talking yesterday about the Bay Kid, sometimes when you play with the Sharks, you get bit. Sometimes when you play with the Sharks, you bite the Sharks. Sometimes you're the one that wins the battle. And we were saying on here last week, I don't run from this. I wrote it in the blog today. I didn't think Tennessee was going to get that Mac kid. But you know what? Neither did anybody else that covers this around the Tennessee baseball beat. Tony Vitello, they had lost, and we had talked about this. These head-to-head battles with LSU, they lost several of them. And that cat said, you know what? I'm going to go in that guy's house, and I'm putting it on them. I'm not taking no for an answer here. Forget about it. They forgot to tell Tony Vols. And so some real good, positive momentum in the football deal. The Bay guy, I don't know whether he makes it here or not. Just people I talk to say he's extremely squirrely. He tells everybody he's going there. They've gotten him to go public, which is good. It's good for the credibility. It never hurts. Even if that's a fish that wiggles off at the end. I think anytime you can have a guy like that involved in your deal. And, Matt, last week, you or Brian, if you came into the Rainier studio right now, you would see that our Tony Vitello bobblehead, Matt, broke in two the other day. I knocked it off when John Adams was in here.
Oh, no.
Yes. But you know what?
Just blame John Adams for that.
It was a precursor, Matt, of what was to come because just as Tony put a little bit of crazy glue. No, Matt, a little bit of crazy glue, brah. It ain't gonna be like Buzz Peterson. I got a Buzz Peterson bobblehead in here that the great Chip Bryant gave me. I love you, Chip. It's got both arms ripped off of it and the basketball in his midsection's ripped off of it. Looks like somebody should call.
What do you make of
Bob?
What do you make of Andrew Binke signing with Georgia?
So back to football, and then we'll get to that, Brian. You're killing me. Let's go back here. The Banky guy?
The Legend Bay guy's got a 5-star name like Dizzy Payton.
I love Legend Bay.
I'll give him that.
I love Legend Bay. I'm for him, not against him. His mother looked at him in that infirmary, first time she had him in swaddling clothes, and she said, "Legend you will be. Legend you will be. Be. Moving right along. So Tennessee's poised to pick up a commitment today from Jackson, Mississippi Academy. TJ White and Darion Albert. As I was saying, both 4-star prospects, both sought after by SEC schools. Ohio State was after White, which is good enough for me. Now, I digress here for 1 second. Matt, a youngster, called in yesterday and asked why, when he looked up the first 4 years of Heupel and the first 4 years of football, this is first 4 years of Fulmer, rather, and they're separated by one game, their first 4 seasons. He said, why are people online, why is there so much unrest around Heupel? And my simple answer was people are worried about the recruiting, whereas back in the day, Matt, and you had to be here for it, but is it not true that Tennessee was like literally winning recruiting national championships back then? Because this guy at Alabama right now, they're off to the races. This guy's recruiting like a madman right there. He had his little dip last year. He's recruiting like a madman right now. And I think there's a certain segment of the fan base, Matt, that would rather win a recruiting national championship than win on the field. I think there are fans like that in all these fan bases. And I think that's why Heupel catches flack from people.
Yeah, but Jones probably fall fell into that category yet for a year or two as well. With signing as many guys as they could to boost the recruiting.
That's what
rankings.
he did.
No,
that's what he did.
And back then when Fulmer had it rolling, recruiting wasn't kind of like its own sport like it is today. You barely knew any of it. I don't even know if there was no way to really tell about recruiting except for signing day. But you knew Tennessee would sign an elite class every year because they were one of the few schools that had the ability to recruit nationally.
Back then, you had guys like Max Empfinger. You had guys like, what were some of the guys? I've
never even heard of that guy.
There was a guy named Forrest Davis. There was a guy named, we used to have them all on. There was a guy named Wise, the California guy. Maybe somebody could call in and give us a little. Back then, here's what we used to do. You would go to your radio station where I worked, and they would send you a huge list on the fax machine. And you'd pay for these services, and they would fax you stuff. And then you had 900 numbers back then that people would sit on the line and run up humongous bills. Like Bill King in Nashville made huge money putting up stuff on a 900 number. They asked me one time to do yeah, Matt. They asked me to do a 900 number one time, Brian. I said, is that good? Sorry, I'm just kidding. Okay, so back to where we were. By the way,
Mr. Cleo,
I'm on some heavy medicine.
900 numbers. I promise it's not a sex.
No, I promise you, honey. I promise you.
It's for recruiting.
You can call it yourself. You can call it yourself, honey.
Yeah, it's for recruiting.
ask the psychic what school this kid's going to choose.
You imagine
$3.99
psychic hotline for recruiting.
You imagine
it's high school recruiting.
Hey, Matt, I knew people in recruiting season that would burn up and run up, like back then, $150, $200 phone bills, which is like $500 today. Because one thing about recruiting people, they're what you call sick with it. And I'm telling you, they would, and that's why. And look, when it comes to Heupel, I'm glad to see this. We need more of it. And we got to get better at it. Got to get better. You're in a league where, this is a shark-infested water league. It's what it is. So let's continue. Ohio State was after the white kid. X says this guy is a real handful. Built like an inside linebacker, can play multiple positions, a volume tackler. He had double-digit sacks last season and over 20 tackles for loss. A superb athlete, runs an 11 flat in 100 meters, which means this kid's a stellar athlete. Albert, on the other hand, is a defensive lineman. 6'2", 305, very powerful. Pocket collapser. One of these guys you see at this level that you plug inside and collapses, takes an opponent's running game away from him. You got to have those guys. He said, look, I know it's high school, but he was literally double-teamed by offenses and at times triple-teamed last year for opponents trying to neutralize him. He said, and he was still very productive. So, Exie thinks, and this is what he writes here, tell the living listener, Tennessee picked up 2 good ones with more to follow. He's now on the watch for cornerback athlete Jamin Theodore at the Baylor School. It's down to Tennessee and Wisconsin for him today. X thinks that goes Tennessee's way. Theodore is a kid from Canada. Spent a couple years in Ohio before transferring to the Baylor School. And he has the measurables you look for in a cornerback. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. The Baylor School is the private school in Chattanooga. Is that not where the kid from Charlottesville that projects to be Tennessee's first baseman was for a couple of years? The kid we just got from Virginia, Henry Ford, who invented the Model T.
Yeah, drives a car. Yeah.
Is somebody?
There's usually a few D1 athletes that come out of there every year. I think it's one of those prep school deals.
Yep. You ever seen that place? You guys ever been there? Because my daughter, when she was playing tennis at Maryville College, they had an event there. That is an utterly unbelievable campus there. Somebody, as they say in the trade,
It's probably
got some Dichet Monet around that thing.
nicer than a lot of college campuses, small college campuses.
Oh, Brian. Somebody.
Never been there, but I mean, I can imagine.
Their facilities are unbelievable. Somebody got some Dichet to the Mo, to the Nay. But let's move along. The kid from Baylor has all the measurables you look for in a cornerback. Long arms on a decent-sized height, frame, track speed. He said, look, this guy might be the top defensive back on Tennessee's board, on their board. He might be the guy they wanted the most on their defensive back board. So he said the bottom line with him is he's kind of an off-the-radar kid in terms of the national services. He said Tennessee did a great evaluation, got on him early. Recruiting services are just finding out about him because the kid's Canadian. And he's part of this Canadian-U.S. educational exchange program. And he's moved around a time or two. So he's on the radar, but not too on the radar. And hopefully Tennessee gets him home today and locks him up. The other thing to be mindful of, and we're going to watch this going forward now that we're watching recruiting in all these sports. Happy days are here again. Because, and I want to bring Marcos on to talk about this at some point, but you got to start cheating now in these sports. Today's the first day we're under, officially, the clearinghouse. Now, I know it took effect a couple weeks ago, but July 1 is when the systems are in place. The fiscal year begins. Happy new fiscal year. And this is what? Is this the fourth anniversary, guys, of the NIL? What is this? I remember.
Yeah, that would be 21.
I remember texting.
I guess this is the first day they can pay athletes above board.
There you go. And that's what it is. That was the other thing. Today's the first day officially that athletes can draw a paycheck from these schools. Now remember, you've got two buckets you can pay these kids out of. I don't want to bore anybody here, but the first bucket is the rev share bucket. We're going to have a rev share breakout, hopefully in the blog, hopefully tomorrow. I've got a few calls to make. But I will give you, for instance, Tennessee baseball has $600,000. The Lady Vols have just north of $1 million to play with in basketball. Does that make sense to you, Matt, or no?
No, especially considering women's basketball is like 15 players max and baseball is 34. I would have thought that'd be a lot closer to being the same. But
so it's extremely interesting. Tennessee has just released the matchups. And we told you we're going to touch them all. In hoops, this Players Era tournament has been a little bit of a bleep show behind the scenes in Vegas. Maury Hanks, I know you're listening. Tennessee's schedule is as follows. I'm going to tell you what's going on with the Players Era tournament. First of all, is this thing going to get through the clearinghouse? But they're going to play it. They're going to play it. But the way it works is this is pay for play. Each team that appears, each team gets $1 million to split up among their players. The team that wins it gets another $1 million to split up. among their players. Now, you guys tell me how that fits in the clearinghouse era. These people with these schools couldn't wait to jump in that tournament when they saw that these teams got paid last year. God knows where this money's coming from. But here's the rub. So I was talking to somebody in that industry. Behind the scenes, the reason you haven't seen this announced till now is in Tennessee will play Rutgers on November 24, which I want to say, Bri, is the day before Thanksgiving. If you could look at your calendar. Or maybe 2 days before Thanksgiving. And then Tennessee plays Houston on November 25. That will be an unbelievable signature basketball game early in the season.
That would be Monday and Tuesday. 24th is Monday and 25th is Tuesday.
All right. And then on either, depending if the Vols win or lose, they either play on Wednesday or on Thanksgiving Day. We might see the Vols in a championship game in that deal. But the Players Era folks have been having trouble with venues and scheduling and trying to get the hockey team to move their schedule around there and trying to come up with venues to play the thing in. And somehow, some way, the folks at TNT are paying them huge money for this thing because they need programming now. It's extremely interesting, but it is a who's who deal that you want to be involved with, and the Vols are going to lead off of Rutgers next year. And look, this is an 18-team event. It's going to be held at Las Vegas in all different venues, and they've had a real mess behind the scenes trying to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Brian Hartman, you're pretty good at these things. What do you think the last time the Vols played Rutgers is? It's a time when you've been following Tennessee basketball.
I read this morning that they last played in 1992 or something like that. And then they might have played one game in maybe 1960-something.
69.
Okay.
Because if 6 turns out to be 9, and the Vols are 2-0 against the Scarlet Knights.
Soon to be 3-0.
Matt Dixon, in your humble opinion, will the Vols, in true Tennessee fashion, will we beat Houston in this one? Thus keeping the streak alive of
probably, yeah,
regular season champions of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll beat Houston in that deal.
They'll beat them like they're met. Although this Houston team,
it'll be an early season street fight.
Top roster in America. It'll be a hell of a game. So let's do this at 865-200-5402. Some football recruiting, little baseball, little basketball. I want to hear from you on the other side, and I want to get Matt's thoughts on what we're about to walk into football-wise, and your thoughts. We were asking this yesterday, but I want you to think now about the upcoming season. Because we had some callers yesterday, I love you, that were getting really woolly. And I love it. You got to grow your what do sheep grow, Bri? What is that? The fur? What do you call that stuff?
They grow wool. They grow wool.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why we call it woolly. You got to grow your wool. This time of the year. And when you think about the upcoming year, I love this time of the year. You can talk yourself into anything. This is the equivalent of Major League Baseball. By the way, Matt, thanks for what Houston did to the Phillies over the last week. It was really nice for you to let us score a run. Thank God for the Atlanta Braves. It was nice of you guys, Matt, to let us score a run that third game. We 27 straight shutout innings. It's really sweet of you. By the way, shout out to Chase Burns and Garrett Crochet. It was historical last night. Crochet cruises to the win, but Brian, not exactly, right? But when your opponent spots you a 7-piece,
lit up himself a little bit. But
yeah, he got the win.
I wanted to ask the question: do you think that Chase Burns will get moved to the bullpen in light of last night's performance? Maybe they'll make a closer out of it.
No,
Brian, what a cheap shot!
God, I didn't even catch it. I'm answering the question. I'm getting wooden literal over
Come
here,
on,
Brian. I'm in for you. You're in for me.
In the first inning, and you want to move him to the bullpen. It's the second start.
Hey, Matt, it did look like the Chase Burns of Tennessee that second year where
they were hammering. Yeah,
a 2-pitch guy.
Well, when you only have the 2 pitches,
when you don't land that
you can't throw
fastball,
one for a strike, they can sit on that slider, and they hammered it to all parts of Fenway.
They were punishing him, and second straight start. I'm not knocking Ewad's Reds, but because they're overachieving this year, they're a nice story. I hope they make the playoffs, but because it's a great baseball town. I love to see Cincinnati and Pittsburgh win. Truth is, the guy didn't have the best fielding behind him. They had early in the game a double play ball that you should have gotten, and when that didn't happen, and that kid got shook, Matt, and he couldn't hit his spot. I mean, they hammered. He recorded 1 out and gave up 7 runs. I can promise you that's never happened to that kid in his life. That is a humbling, hard sport. Pitchers, batters, fielders, everybody involved, and it's a mental deal, and it is a tough, tough way to make a living. They're well paid, but that's a tough deal right there. I can't imagine what it's like. Looks like a lot of fun though.
The MLB TV free game of the day, but of course it was blacked out here.
You like it, Matt? Matt, are you for that or against that?
God, it's so stupid.
Dumb. Stupid.
I don't know why baseball does that to make it more difficult, because it seems like the sports are growing right now. There's some stars.
Yep.
With how the pitch clock is shortened games, they've got some momentum and just growing the sport right now. But then it's just so hard to watch games, and
dumb.
It just makes no sense to do that.
Stupid. I watched on Stream Ace last night. Sorry.
I did as well.
Sorry. Because I like getting viruses from China. I like the China. I like getting viruses on my phone. Come back on the other side. I want to hear from you at 865-200-5402. One announcement. I'd like to tell William and Fort Oglethorpe that your prize pack is on the way. Your prize pack has been confirmed. It is on the way, William, in Fort Oglethorpe. We're going to continue with more on the other side. Float on, the floaters. Back in the day, we continue with more. I want to hear from you. When you think of the upcoming season, now it's July 1. This is it. Listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's our last month without college football of 2025. And all the glory that it entails. This is our last month. This is it, Kenny Loggins. And let me tell you, some of you woolly ones got me excited yesterday. The kid from Texas that called, you got me fired up, folks. Prepared, big boy. I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning last night watching Rick Beato interview Allison Krauss. But I was thinking of you. Because, Matt, this kid called the shot. He said 10-2. He said his sources tell him that Joey football is going to ball out. Stars are going to emerge, and the stars are going to line up. And I can't help but thinking, in a way, how comical that would be if that happened. If Tennessee trades quarterbacks with UCLA, Matt, what do you make of Nico Nerf ball? Because we got Joey football. They got Nico Nerf ball. Matt, what do you make of Nico Nerf ball being invited to the SEC and to the big, whatever the league they're in. I don't even know. Within the Big Ten? Media
they're
days,
the Big
Matt.
Ten.
Will his father go with him? Nico Nerfball.
Yeah.
Will they accommodate 25 family members on their road trip? All that stuff's over for them. UCLA didn't have the money to do the stuff Tennessee was doing. You ain't getting private jets out of those people. Hell, the president there couldn't get on a jet. I bet the president there flies coach.
The basketball coach talked about flying, what was it?
Spirit Airlines or something? Some low-cost
Yeah.
carrier. He said, we got to leave in the middle of the night.
And they're supposed to be a basketball school.
Nico Nerfball. See, we got Joey Football. Nico Nerfball. He turned $2 million into about $500,000. You got no state income tax here, dummy. You goofs. How unbelievably great, Matt, would it be if Joey Football comes out here and balls out and Nico Nerfball struggles out there? How funny would it be? I'm telling you right now, the entire college football establishment is rooting for that to happen. Literally everybody is a Joey Football fan. We are all Joey Football. All of us. Every single one of us is Joey Football.
Well, I think that's likely to happen. More than it's not. I mean, I don't think Nico's going to do great out there because he's not surrounded by much, and he's not set up to be successful. Just joining the team after spring, and we'll see what Aguilar does here. But I think there's a chance he does fairly well here. Probably not going to match the 10 wins from last year as a team, but he could certainly have better stats than Nico.
The throat has been all over me. Says and he rips me in the blog. Our UT Insider Orange Throat. He says, you're wanting to give this guy a parade for winning 9 games against the easiest schedule in the world. I have to admit, the more I look at that schedule, Brian, how you going to lose 3 games against it? I'm telling you, this kid in Texas yesterday, he fired me up. He focused me, and he fired me up. And I might be prepared right now. Brian, that schedule, we play the 4 worst teams in the league, Brian. In the league, Jackie Butler. In the league. Where are the losses going to come from? In the league. Oh, my God. What am I doing? Just talking and talking. Where's the discipline?
You searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Living Vol fan, we're on the countdown to kickoff, and that means you need to make sure you are game ready. Head to Alumni Hall to get this season's Tennessee sideline apparel. Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, and more. Shop top brands for the entire family. Hats, Yeti, tailgating gear, and so much more. If it's for the Tennessee fan, Alumni Hall has it. Spend $150 and get $10 in Hall cash rewards. Shop at alumnihall.com. Download their app or shop any of their locations in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, or the Tri-Cities. Alumni Hall, the ultimate shopping destination for Vol fans.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. 5th quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But They told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Tony B back with you. Matt has an area he wants to point out from the blog today. Go ahead, Matt. What is it?
Just Andrew Binke is a left-handed pitcher, not a righty.
Am I forgiven?
Oh yeah, it's no worries. He barely pitched this year, but
Exactly.
he actually had a much bigger role on the national title team.
He did.
Just had an off-season injury and just never could quite find his footing. Who I guess him and along with Dylan Lawyer, the two guys that the staff probably didn't want to leave that did.
I agree with that.
Because they still don't have. I mean, there's probably some innings for Will Heflin on next year's team right now with the amount of left-handers they don't have.
But the Vols are not done.
Tony Vols probably camping out at somebody's house right now.
No question. And unlike Jeremy Pruitt, as Brian said in the first segment,
probably the right house.
Huh. That story who told the story? Who was the guy that told that story on his podcast?
Greg McElroy.
Who ironically is one of Tony Vols' biggest fans.
Is he the guy that launched on him and called him classless?
Yes.
Tony really triggers people.
He's like a wrestler with how he over the top celebrations after winning a national title. What a loser. The guy got beat out with the Jets by Matt Sims.
To the phones we go at 865-200-5402. Tons to talk about today. Stack, packed, and Jack, let's go to the phones. Banky, Brian's concerned about him. He'll get a lot more of an opportunity pitching for Georgia. Has Loy resurfaced yet? Has he committed somewhere? Do we know? I would imagine
he an LSU target.
He has not, but I think he's going to wind up back in the SEC.
Yeah, I would imagine that. I was going to say that. I would imagine he ends up a power team. He can pitch. But Tennessee Stone Cold wouldn't lie to him, which I give them credit. I give him credit. Hey, you want to go do your thing? You go do your thing. But these VFMs, we got Vols for a minute. I don't know what other name to come up with for him, Matt. VFM. Vol for a moment. You got VFLs and VFMs. I got room for everybody. I mean, Chase Burns is a VFM. Chase Burns is huge credibility player when he came to Tennessee. It's huge. Getting him away from Vanderbilt at the time they did it, huge. People forget that. I'm going to cheer against him. I'm not. Because I think it's huge. Let's go to the phones. So you got VFMs, you got VFLs. And I got somebody on the line with us now. We got all lines jammed. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, it's Rob in Dallas.
Hey, Rob in Dallas, welcome in. You might be the one that fired me up, folks, me and prepared me yesterday.
That's what I was going to say. It's good to know that I'm living rent-free in your head.
I love it, man. Not only you living rent-free, bro, I enjoyed your phone call. I'm on prednisone, so I couldn't sleep last night, and I was up like, man, this guy might have something. This guy's got me excited here. Either that or my mind's playing tricks on me.
Well, I went over and talked to my neighbor again, and I said, hey, one of the guys on the radio show brought up a comment. He said, yeah, he did well where he was at, but he hasn't played SEC competition. And he pointed out to me, he goes, well, you only have 4 true road games. And he said, and you're playing Syracuse in the Dome. He goes, so you got 8 games at home. Knoxville is no cupcake. He goes, not anymore. He goes, and he goes, what you're missing is the offense that Josh Heupel had. This kid is perfect for this offense. You put him in another offense, he said, he's probably not going to do so well. He said if he was at Texas or even Alabama, he said he probably is not going to do as well. But for the style of offense that Josh Heupel runs,
wow,
this is the perfect quarterback.
And what's your name again in Dallas?
Rob.
Rob in Dallas. Okay. We got Mark in Dallas, Rob in Dallas. Okay. Because I'm shouting you out in the blog tomorrow because I'm telling you, man, Matt, he's got a good point. You only have 4 true road games. The schedule, Matt, is not hard. I mean, and I can be as glass half empty as I want to be, but this is a rather navigable schedule, especially by SEC standards, that Tennessee has this year, Matt, and you're only on the road 4 times. It's a great point, Matt.
No, it is just like last year, and you need to take full advantage of it. You did last year, and if you can do it again this year, you should have at least nine wins and potentially 10, and you're right there in that playoff discussion once again, which would be a huge credibility thing for the program.
And like I said, this guy's a coach, so that's what he does. He evaluates talent. So, I was drinking the Kool-Aid too. I'm like, well, I hope you're right, because if it is, it sounds like we can be in Atlanta in December. And he said there's only 3 games that we need to be concerned about: Georgia at home, Alabama on the road, Florida on the road. He goes, everybody else you should beat. He goes, if you go 1-2 in those games, he goes, you're going to playoffs.
God, I mean, if they get to the playoffs this year, that'd be one of the most amazing stories ever, really, around here. That would be incredible if they got to a playoff after Nico Nerfball left us.
Hey, so I asked him about him going out to UCLA, and he said, in the coaching world, that dude's toxic. His whole family's toxic. Yep. He said that his dad was shopping him around mid-season last year. I know everybody says December. He's like, I know coaches that got phone calls in October, November about him. Had he not lost to Arkansas, he probably would have drawn a big paycheck. He said, but Arkansas put it on him, and his value went down. That's like, well, us Vol fans, we're not too concerned about him whatsoever. So, it is what it is.
I tell you, you guys are starting to fire me up right now. I don't know what's happening to me, but I'm growing a coat. I mean, I might show up here tomorrow looking like one of the founding fathers on the top of my head, brother.
I hear you. I'm so excited about this year. I can't wait. You guys keep talking about this is the last month till college. To me, this is like the worst time of the year, July. It just sucks.
Mm-hmm. We got each other, man. That's what I say in July. We got each other. And our numbers do not fall at this time of the year, despite what people think. We've always been very good at holding an audience because we try to keep it interesting. In the conversation that we had yesterday, what we're getting into today, and Thursday's topic is going to be celebrating our independence. We're going to look back and laugh at the Butch Jones era for a couple of hours and laugh and giggle at where we came from. Hey, listen, you got to know your history. You got to know where you came from to appreciate where you are. I believe.
Absolutely.
And Matt made a good point. Butch Jones had a way of manipulating those recruiting rankings and making you feel better about where you were than probably you should have felt better about it. But he used to collect. I remember Sean Sinclair said one time on here, he said, it's like this guy's just collecting running backs and wide receivers. And you only put 3 guys on the field. I mean, 4 or 5 guys on the field at one time, and this guy was, the guy's a clown. Stone cold clown. You're the man, buddy.
Absolutely.
Anything else you
All
care to add?
That's it, man.
Are you a Cowboy fan?
Oh, hell no.
I know I loved you. Thank you, brother.
No, I can't stand them.
Thank you. Good talking to you. 865-200-5402. Hello and welcome into our next call. Great call from Rob in Dallas, who gets the shout out tomorrow over at tclub.team for, I'm literally waking up. Well, I didn't wake up because I don't want to sleep, but it's literally like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting there going, what if the guy's right? What kind of crazy football season will it be? And Bino has a saying, which is in sports, success is one thing. Unexpected success is the best kind of success in sports. You know what that is? That is a straight up truth. That's what that is. Think about seasons you've enjoyed from various teams and just whatever you're looking at. Unexpected success is the best success. Unexpected success in life. When you have something happen that you weren't expecting to happen and you just kind of go, did that just happen? It's the best kind of success. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, how are you?
Doing great. Good to talk to you.
Hey, yeah, 2 days in a row. This is Nick calling you again.
Hey, Nick. Another guy that fired me up, folks, and prepared me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I did. I wasn't really trying to, but unexpected, like you said, it's always the best feeling. So I got a couple of thoughts I wanted to share. First, I did watch the Chase Burns against Garrett Crochet last night, and the Red Sox broadcast was saying that Burns was tipping his pitches. They were saying that, like, when he was throwing the fastball, when he was gripping, getting ready to throw the fastball, his glove, he wasn't squeezing his glove. But when he got ready to throw the slider, he was squeezing his glove. So I didn't know if you caught that.
No.
In any highlights or anything. Yeah. But I found that interesting, and I wondered to myself, why didn't, if he's been doing that sort of thing, you'd think his coaching staff would work with him on it. But do you think he's going to take the coaching? Because, I mean, he didn't take much coaching here at Tennessee. And
no, I don't think that's true. Look, I think Frank developed him, and then he went to Wake, and he tried to develop another pitch there. It's just not major league ready yet, and that kid is going to throw what he's going to throw, which is, look, is it possible he sent this pitches? Sure, those guys fall into habits. We all fall into habits and do those sorts of things. What happened to him last night, in my opinion, is it's like Matt said, because we saw it a second year here. When he can't locate his fastball, and you're only a 2-pitch pitcher, and they're going to sit on your slider, and your slider's not sharp, they're going to hammer you at that level. Yeah. That doesn't matter who you're. My Phillies, who can't break a grape these days with their power, they'll hit you hard if you do that.
I'll be honest with you, my Cardinals could have hit him hard the way he was tipping them last night.
No question. Or the way he wasn't locating his fastball, which I think was more of what happened than pitch tipping.
He is going to need a third pitch if he wants to be a pro starter, though. Like, he's going to have to get a curveball, a cutter, something.
No question, all those guys. That's what makes Skeens so crazy. Skeens has this, like, 6-pitch repertoire, y'all. I mean, think about that. You listen to the show. We're talking about Chase Burns getting to that level. Now, there were injuries, and the Reds have had injuries this year, which has allowed him to rise faster. And this is a kid that only has a few pro starts under his belt.
He was dominating the minors. They almost had to bring him up.
Yeah, and he was ripping it up. You're right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Matt, you would like to have a third pitch before you put him in that spot.
Yeah, if you're a 2-pitch guy, that means you're a bullpen arm long term.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the same problem Liam Doyle's going to have. He's got to develop 2 or 3 more pitches that you can at least throw at some point and count.
This Skeens guy, though, y'all, when he's mastering 5 or 6 pitches, and that guy's nasty, like not fair, nasty.
He's a robot.
Yes,
he's
he is.
a robot.
Yes, he is.
Now, switching, I kind of want to switch gears again to football, if you don't mind, because I saw something yesterday, a tweet. Fall practice is starting July 30th, I think.
Yep.
I believe, yeah, July 30th. And I'm wondering, what do we want to, in order to get us more fired up about Joey Aguilar? Because I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff on Joey Aguilar, and you know, there are people who think he could be better than Nico. And there are people that are like, what if he's exactly how he was at App State, blah, blah, blah. What do we need to hear out of spring practice in order to be like, oh, he's going to be the dude?
You're going to get
legit.
You're going to get a bunch of spin. You're not going to know till you see him play. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm embarrassed by myself last off season and the way I was talking about Nico. And I ought to know better, because I've been doing this for 30 plus years, but we all get pulled into the hype, pardon the pun, because Hype was not a hype guy, but we all get pulled into the hype at this time of the year, and it's such a fun thing when it comes back alive, and we all want to believe, and I'm prone to that. But the thing that I realize now is you're really not going to know what Joey Aguilar is till you see him on the field against Georgia. Syracuse game's going to be one thing, and you hope he goes out there and functions well, but even if he doesn't, that's your first game. He'll.
It's still going to raise alarm bells for some people, though.
No, it always will. Look, you're going to have people that are going to be upset if he throws for 500 yards. Nitpicking his footwork. Some of the nitwits that are out there, but the truth is,
they'll be like it's all downhill from here, that sort of thing.
Nick, last year, I thought Nico was going to be a Michael Vick type player. A Jameis Winston type, like when he was at Florida State, force on the field. I'll give you another example. A guy like the freshman at Florida, the kid that walked out there and raised the level of everybody around him. And Nico, I'm here to tell you, he just is not that kind of guy. He doesn't have that personality. He doesn't have that thing that that quarterbacks, I think, at times have to have. Not all the time. But, man, it sure does help if you have that panache about you.
Chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, you raise everybody. You follow me. I just never saw that with that kid.
Yeah. So I want to go back to something your previous caller said about only 4 true road games.
Yeah.
2 of those are Kentucky and Mississippi State.
There you go.
And
there you go.
Let's be honest, that Kentucky crowd's going to be half orange, especially if we're having a very good year. So I would say the only 2 true hostile environments we're going to are Bama and Florida. So, I mean, because you've got a lot of Vol alumni in Memphis that, I mean, especially if we beat Georgia, it's 3 hours to Starkville from here. We can make that drive. Like, I might need some aspirin putting up with hearing those cowbells for a few hours, but, I mean, if we're looking like the real thing, you're going to see some orange in Starkville.
Matt, where do you put Kentucky and Mississippi State in the league this year? Because we haven't gone through our exercise just yet.
Definitely in the bottom third, probably the bottom fourth. I don't think either of them are going to be very good this year.
I think there's a good
I mean, Tennessee just doesn't lose at Kentucky.
To the 2 SEC road games that you're pointing out, Kentucky and Mississippi State, here's the thing about Brian, the Kentucky game falls when? It's late in the year, right? Still?
Week after Bama, I think.
I think in late October. It's been late October-ish for the last little bit here.
That'll be a little bit of a break for them because their season doesn't fall off the cliff just yet. But yet I can't help but escape the thought that Stoops has bottomed that deal out there. Now, they'll run up some wins against some MAC teams. And they'll get, semi-bowl eligible or whatever it is they do. But they don't harbor any ambitions of making a playoff like that Matt's buddy Jones, like Matt Jones did last year. That's Matt's buddy up there.
Yeah.
Great call, my friend. Anything else for us? You guys are keeping me pumped right now. I love it, man.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing to get you pumped up, and it's about Alabama. I'll be honest with you, Tony. I went to UT Martin for undergrad. Yeah. I know the Simpsons. I saw Ty Simpson grow up.
Yep.
No disrespect, but that kid's about as much of an SEC player as Chris Walker was when he came to Tennessee from Huntington back in the day. If they're starting Ty Simpson, and I don't care that he's throwing the ball to Ryan Williams, if you're starting Ty Simpson and you're trying to make the playoffs, I got some beachfront property in Montana I want to sell you. Let's just say that.
Well, Jason's been known to listen to the show from time to time, so I'm sure he will get a chuckle out of that and probably pass it along. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh.
You stepped in it, bro.
You're right.
You stepped in it. He listens. Have a Dwight.
Yeah, well, it'll be okay.
Good talking to you, yeah. We like to talk a little smack around here. It's fun. 865-200-5402. Again, a lot of people in the glitterati, and we'll go back to our phones as we continue. Hour number 2 on the radio. Man, we're late today. Great conversation, y'all, as we continue.
WJBE, 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Summer is officially here, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe when extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama's Easy approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. TB back with you, 865-200-5402 as we welcome you back. I'll tell you what, it's a great day. Now, it's hotter than blue blazes, and I've gotten behind the 8 ball here with one of these sinus infections in East Tennessee that doesn't go away. But you wouldn't know that, listen to me on the radio. You know why? Because when I get on here, I fire it up and focus it, prepare it. But I'm going to tell you something. If you get one of these deals at this time of the year, take care of yourself. Because this thing I have is, and I've had a bunch of these. This one is literally nasty. I'm talking nasty. To the phones we go. And I don't know if it's because it's summer and it just happened at a period where it's so hot. But I cannot get enough liquid in me. I just cannot. Just like those 2 last callers, I can't get enough of that in me. You guys have fired me up, focused me, and prepared me for the task at hand here. Hello and welcome in. You're on your Tony Basilio show on a terrific Tuesday. where Tennessee's picking up commitments in football. Hello, you're on the air. Oh.
Port Oglethorpe, Georgia.
Hey, what's up, my man? How you doing? I got your email, brother. Your gift cards are on the way. I told Laura, I said, for that youngster, I ought to pop in there and autograph 8x10. You know what Laura told me? She said, we don't have any autograph 8x10s. I said, oh, well, never mind then. How about that, Matt? We don't have any autograph 8x10s, Tony.
Not really surprising, unfortunately. Maybe some 3x5, some wallet size.
A rather low. You're dealing, William, in Fort Oglethorpe with a rather low budget operation. I am to Six Flags what Lake Winnipesaukee is. Pasoka is to Six Flags, if you feel me.
I do feel you, Tony. Anyway. So, I have made up my mind if Joey Aguilar is going to be good enough to beat the Georgia Bulldogs this year or not.
Matt, are you enjoying Woolly Tuesday? I got to ask Matt. Matt, what do you think of Woolly Tuesday so far? We ought to do Woolly Tuesday every week. Just Feel Good Tuesday, Matt. I'm enjoying Feel Good Tuesday.
I like the optimism, and I enjoy it a lot. I just wish I could agree with it.
I know.
These
guys are pumping me up.
Maybe it's me.
Well, the cat in Dallas that started the fire, like Ryan. Because Ryan started the fire. He didn't burn himself on a George Foreman grill, though. But here's the thing. William, you have to admit that if you closed your eyes right now and you thought about all those Georgia fans around you and you thought about Joey football on an autumn afternoon leading the Volunteers to a victory, leading the band on the field after the game, think about how that's going to feel down there in Fort Oglethorpe when you walk outside with your Tennessee stuff on, William. Think about it. Think about Kirby Dumb over there with his visor slamming it to the ground. The way Saban was throwing his hat on the ground that day that Tennessee took them apart. This could be an all-time watershed moment, William, in the history of the school. If you think about it, William.
It would feel so good. Since 2016, I've been waiting. And waiting.
Anticipating.
And waiting.
And anticipating. 38 special. William, you're jacking me up, man. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. You guys are doing something to me today. I don't know what's going on in here, but I'm getting pump. As my brother Steve likes to say, I'm getting pump in here. I am getting pump. Yes. Anything else for us, William?
And then I'd like to correct myself from yesterday. I meant to say 10-3, not 10-2. But I do have us losing to Bama and Florida.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
At Alabama.
And
Florida.
I think that's fair. You know, I do think that's a fair statement that you're making there. I think 10-2 would be an incredible season.
Kind of like
coach of the century. Listen, hey Matt, think about that for a second. If your quarterback leaves you in April, and you get a guy from UCLA or the Merklinger guy, however you're going to do this, you can mix and match these two guys, and you get 10 wins. Now, I know that schedule's easy. We all know that schedule's easy. It's Indiana easy from last year. The more I look at it, I'm like, wow. Here's the thing that makes the schedule a little more difficult, though, and we don't know this about modern college football, because this is why it's hard to get a handle on it. How is Mateer going to be at Oklahoma? And they spent in the portal. And how much are we sleeping on them, Matt? Which is kind of hard to believe that we're sleeping on Oklahoma, but that's a sleepy period in Oklahoma football. They deserve to be slept on, don't they?
Yeah, they haven't proven anything. And I think when I looked at it, you catch Oklahoma at like the perfect time. It's like right before a bye week for them.
Uh-oh.
And they're coming off like a 3 or 4 game stretch that includes Texas and I think Ole Miss and somebody else who they play on the road.
Yep.
That it's not like a lay, like they're like you catch them at a really good spot on the schedule for Oklahoma. But Mateer, I think he can be really good. I would worry about him staying healthy this year for them because obviously their offensive line was awful last year. But that's a guy that kind of looks for contact, or at least he did at Washington State, which is probably one of the reasons that he was so good there. But in the SEC, you worry about that durability factor. But yeah, Oklahoma's. I mean, that's not even one of the 4 or 5 games that we talk about for Tennessee, and that's crazy to think about because it was a signature game last year with Hypo going back to Norman.
He's the that Mateer guy. You watch him play is like the anti-Nico Nerf ball. Nico doesn't like contact. This guy looks for contact. This guy reminds me of that Pavia guy. You know, you got to pick your spots. And those runaround guys in the NFL, they don't last for a reason. It's because your body can only take so much of that. And the last time I checked, Mike Griffith told me, Brian, the SEC is the closest thing to the NFL. The great Mike Griffith. Anything else for us, William, as you dominate and wait your prize?
And I get it. They only have 4 away games this upcoming season, I think.
Yep.
And you play Mississippi State. I'm going to get tired of those stupid cowbells. But we're going to win because Mississippi State, they're garbage.
Oh!
And then Kentucky.
Yes.
Kentucky, they're not that good either. I mean, they're probably even worse than Mississippi State. At this point, Tennessee's also going to win. And Tennessee barely loses at Kentucky. Have a good day, y'all.
You're firing me up, William, and your prize is on the way. And if I had 8x10s, you'd get one. I got one for like 30 years ago, Bri. You ought to see it. It's a good-looking guy in my day, Bri. Good-looking guy. Now, it's starting to fester in here. By the way, Thursday night...
You have 11 fingers.
You still look good, Tone. That's why the YouTube numbers are growing.
By the way, Thursday night, we're playing live Calhoun's on the River as a prelude to the 4th of July weekend. We're going to rip it up. We're going to tear it up. Nicholas Wilson, Brian, on that. What's the Bay kid's first name? Legend Bay? He said that kid deserves an extra star or 2. He might be a 7-star player. Bay has 10.2 in the 100-meter time. SCE 384 over on YouTube says. He says that's boinin'. I agree with that, buddy. That's boinin'. Nicholas Wilson said, you get kids out of Baylor or McCallie, you're doing quite well. I agree with that. Hey, Nicholas, if you're going to school at Baylor or McCallie, somebody's doing pretty well, too, if you know what I'm a-screaming. There's a lot of money down in Chat Town. Bender of Strings, that must be a player. Located off Signal Mountain Road, been there thousands of times. Brian, we've got a guy named Rodney Kraft in here who's turning into a serial poster on the YouTube. Do you like the guys at Serial Post, Brian?
Whatever happened to the Silkbone guy?
Well, this is almost like this Rodney Kraft guy in this YouTube channel is very Wes Rucker-esque. Frankfurter says, Tony, remember what Rapper Andy told you, because we're going to tie this in, Matt. Apparently, Rapper Andy has been denied, Matt, entry into the brawl, the redneck brawl.
What a disgrace.
That's an absolute. I totally stand against that. I'm telling you, we ought to have our own event down at Calhoun's. Once we get, through the season and we're looking for a little pick-me-up in mid-October, put a ring out there and have our own redneck brawl.
Can't believe that. Like, that thing is set up perfect for Andy. I guess they saw his training videos on Twitter and decided it was like a liability thing for his opponent, and they couldn't put him in the ring with anybody.
Genoy Krevza is telling me to pop an edible and settle down. Not a bad idea. If you could help me out later, shoot me an email, commonfan@gmail.com. But know that I watch On Patrol Live, and I'm afraid of that sort of thing around here. They're bussing that in Knox County. Bus it! Frankfurter reminded me that there are 3,000 family members of Nico. Hey, Matt, somebody on here made the analogy about Jesus and the fishes the other day. Might have been John Adams. Might have been, I don't know. It might have been John Adams. And taking that guy's salary after the state of California takes 60% of it, it's going to be very hard to feed 3,000 people and keep them up on $400,000, Matt. I don't think that kid made the best decision in the world. Just saying.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not sure the kid actually made the decision himself, which is kind of one of the problems, which makes it kind of a sad story for him that he's let other people kind of dictate the biggest decisions of his life to this point. But no, that's going to wind up being one of the worst looking moves of all. Like, I think that'll be something that people talk about in 20 years.
No doubt.
Who knows where the NIL thing will be at that point, but I think it'll be one of the poster cases for having an NIL deal go poorly with how his family and I guess his dad handled that situation.
Old Nico.
I mean, he had everything set up perfect here. And just wasn't enough.
Back to the phones we go. 865-200-5402. This Rodney Kraft guy goes on to say, TB, the rest of the SEC is happy to see this backfire in your face, is talking about this Rutgers thing, getting this kid from Rutgers. UT paid to defend this kid, paid him millions. UT is dirty. I'll tell you what LSU is, Rodney, and I'm glad we're back to this now. You guys have never cheated in recruiting. Ever. In any of these sports. I don't care. You know what? I think that was an AI-generated voice when we all thought it was Will Wade. I think it was AI-generated, Rodney.
I guess they didn't pay Paul Skeens anything. He just came there because he wanted to go there.
AI-generated. Let's go to the phones. I'm so glad we're yelling at each other about cheating again. Let's go back to our busy phones.
Well, didn't they take money from a children's hospital to pay recruits or recruits' dad?
You know, let's get back to that. I want to get back to that, which is what is getting ready to happen here. The under the table payments are coming, and I'm for it.
Brian, did you say Andrew Benke was going to Georgia? Was that right?
Yes.
Apparently, Matty's throwing from the right side now. Let's go back to the phones.
He switched pitcher like the guy from Mississippi State a few years ago.
As Charles Shackelford said, the man's amphibious. He can go from his left to his right. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Just when I thought I couldn't miss Titan Bill's phone calls, why in the heck is Chris Walker catching strays? He was a good player. What are we talking about?
I don't know. I don't know which Chris Walker he was talking about.
Number 84, played defensive end.
Our guy that's in campus ministry?
Yes.
Ripping him?
That's who he ripped. Yeah.
I didn't know that was his hometown, so pardon me for that.
Yeah. I appreciate getting the follow the last two callers, though. I mean, the bar is low, so I'm good. So the schedule this year, the Joey Aguilar, everything's been talked about. I think the schedule's pretty simple. There's 8 games you should win. There's 3 games you should lose, and there's 1 that's a coin flip. Is that about right?
Yeah. Pretty much how most of these schedules work, Rusty, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 that are you should win comfortably. 4 you should win. I mean, going to Kentucky is not easy, but as Matt Dixon will tell us, we don't lose to Kentucky. Mississippi State should be a win. I don't know. I'm pretty scared of Diego Pavia. That dude really seems to be determined to win a national championship at Vanderbilt. If he gets 9 more years there, he might be able to pull that off.
You know what would be fun, though? To see that game early in the schedule. That's why these games matter when you play them. If you got Diego Pavia when he was fresh, they'd be a handful for us. But not when they fall on the schedule, because he'll be like he was last year. He was
not once they're beat up. But us having to play Vanderbilt to end the season is so
anticlimactic and boring.
Yeah, I mean, I know Georgia ends with Georgia Tech and Florida State and Florida. I know there's the out of conference game, so we kind of get stuck. And Bama's going to finish with Auburn, so we can't really have a great ending game on our schedule or whatever. But us having Vandy to end it is. It's not fun. The game's always brutally cold. So yeah. But no. Is Oklahoma a coin toss in your mind?
Sure. Yeah.
And
that's a swing game.
Sure it is. Yeah. They're going to be like last year's game. Those teams are comparable if you stop and think about it. I mean, Oklahoma's got. Because Rusty, one thing we know about them, they spend a ton of money in the offseason, and they do not like coming into this league and getting embarrassed. Now, this might cost this coach his job after this year, but that AD is pretty dug in on that coach making it, because none of these ADs want to say they failed with a hire.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, ADs get attached to the coaches when the coaches get fired a lot of the times. So that's a coin toss. The other 8 we should win. The three that we should lose. Is there one of those above the other 2 that you think we would be more likely to win than the other 2 of those 3? Florida, at Bama, home to Georgia. Because I don't think there's any way we're getting Georgia that late in the season when we're beat up. Or sorry, that early in the season when they're fresh is what I'm going to say. We're not going to get Georgia like our 3rd game of the year before Aguilar really understands the offense, that type of thing. Is there one of those 3 that's more likely than the other to win?
I think it'd be Florida because it's the next. I think it's the week before Vandy, and I think you have to question how healthy Lagway is at that point. I mean, the guy got hurt last year, hadn't really done anything all off season, and I think more than probably maybe any other team in the league, their season's built around him because of how talented and how good he is. And I just. The 11th game of the season, I think you have to question whether he's even playing there. But it would be the most Tennessee thing ever for Harrison Bailey to beat the Vols in Gainesville.
Or Ty Simpson.
That game to me, I know this history of it doesn't say the series, but I mean, I think that you could put that in a coin flip, the Tennessee-Florida game.
Here's the thing we
don't.
It's still a game in Gainesville, though.
No, Brian, it's not coin flip. No, Brian. Brian, that's called a loss. I love you, and I love Woolly Tuesday. Hey, Rusty, you like Woolly Tuesday, right? You going to call that game a coin flip, Rusty, at this point? After everything we've seen?
Looking at the talent, looking at the talent, are they is Florida any kind of a juggernaut, though?
Brian.
That could be beaten down by the schedule?
We gave up an 88-yard Hail Mary to Felipe
Franks.
Thank you.
Felipe Franks. We lost to a guy named Treon Harris, who I think was off the team by Monday. So what are we doing, Brian? What are we talking about, Brian?
What's the line?
I think Bama's more likely than Florida.
I'm going to be in that game.
Don't win in Gainesville.
Yeah, I think Bama. I don't know about Alabama because here's the thing: if Ty Simpson can play a little bit, they're going to be very good. So
exactly.
But if he can play, they'll be in the playoffs and they'll be a factor. if he can play. But who knows? I have no idea. I don't even know how you comment on that. That's the thing about college football now, Rusty. It's what's so great about the sport. In this transfer portal era, it takes a month to figure out what you're looking at. It really does.
Oh yeah, you're so right. We have no idea what our quarterback's going to be until Georgia. I mean, maybe Syracuse gives us a little bit glimpse, but we're not going to know anything from camp because it's all contrived. They're not letting them be tackled. You don't know what a kid's going to do at quarterback until he's able to be hit by other people.
And they're going to spin the hell out of the media. Okay, I've never been more spun than I got last year. And by the way, I'm
sure he looked great in practice.
Sure.
I'm sure he looked great when nobody could hit him.
Yeah, I'm keeping my powder dry, and I've lived and I've learned, and I'm gonna enjoy. It's gonna be a great, compelling season. The league is gonna be great this year, and it's gonna be really compelling here. It really is.
Hey, can I go off topic real quick?
Sure,
at the end?
Sure.
Gene and I went to an Angels game on Sunday just to go see SEMO. They were playing the Nats. It was horrible. But SEMO, he singled in a go-ahead run in the 7th. They ended up losing in extras. But anyway, it was great to see. But she and I walked around the concourse, went to all the different bars and stuff inside the stadium just to check out the place. And we're both wearing Tennessee orange because, we wanted to stand out and support our volunteer. We weren't really there to support the Angels or the Nats. But numerous times I got thanks for the quarterback from people as we're walking around. And I was like, enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
The nation of 3,000. Enjoy yourself.
The UCLA people were thinking, I was like, y'all, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I think you need more than a quarterback, first of all. And I don't know that you got one that's going to, make y'all great. He can be okay, but he's not going to help you guys because you're horrible already.
Won't that be interesting, Rusty, to see, what the narrative
and they need a coach.
Hey guys, maybe he comes out and explodes there. Maybe he does. Who knows? I don't think so. I know one thing. We will watch, and it's sad to say this because sports are a petty deal, but when somebody does something like that to you, that's like you telling me that when some lady breaks your heart, guys, that you're cheering for her. No, you're not. Sorry. No, you're not. You can say that. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Tony, that UCLA team is like the 6th or 7th most talented team in the state. I'm not joking.
What is he doing? The
bad.
family was flying on private planes back and forth and back and forth. And what, Nico? What were you doing? What?
And you're right about him. He's not a guy who's going to get guys to follow him. That's his biggest problem because he's not a leader because his dad has never allowed him to be a leader.
It's a great line. His dad never had to talk with him, and I appreciate you, Rusty. And the talk is this: son, you're a man now. You're going to stand on your own 2 feet. We're here for you. I love you. We support you, but you got to make your own decisions. Where do you want to go to school? You got to make your own decisions. That's my problem with this whole NIL cash cow era, is that there is a lot of young people out there that are not making their own decisions. That's like this thing, I was having a conversation, Matt, with a friend of mine about, and we're doing some research into this, the Marshall Manning thing, right? He's going to come on the radar. If I'm Peyton, I'm sure that kid would want to go here, but if the kid says, hey, I want to go do my own thing, what do you do, Matt?
You let him do his own thing.
That's my thing.
They did for the rest of the family. That's what Archie let Peyton do. That's the only reason he ended up at Tennessee.
That's my thing. And I don't know if I'm that kid. To me, this is just how I am, though. I'd want to blaze my own trail. That's me. If you notice, a lot of these guys do that. I was looking at it last night, and we were looking at some of the great players in the NFL in the last 30 years that have had kids that have played, very few of them went to that person's alma mater. Because a lot of those guys looked at their kids and said,
Look at the
make your own decision. Make your own decision. I'm not going to make your decision for you.
That thing,
I know because
like
Gardner's here, but Golston kid went to Tennessee instead of Georgia.
Yep. Good point.
Remember that thing like a month or so ago when Charles Woodson's kid tweeted out that he was offered by Tennessee? I thought that was hilarious.
Well,
like that's just this. I think his name's Charles Woodson Jr. too, but I just thought that was so funny. And it kind of went viral there for like a day or two.
I saw something really comical online yesterday about how Matthew McConaughey, he's like the ambassador or something, they call him at Texas. He's got some unofficial thing. He said, yeah, he gave an interview. He said, I've really taken Arch Manning under wing, Matt. You're going to love this. And I've told him how to live with fame. Newsflash, moron. The kid is a Manning. They're like the Kennedys of college football. You have got to be kidding me, right? You literally have got to be kidding me. He said, yeah, I've taught him how to live, with fame. If Peyton Manning and Matthew McConaughey were next to each other, who'd get recognized more in an airport? Now, let's get real here. He said, you got go look at it. Google that story. I am not kidding you. Yeah, I what I told him is when they walk up to you in a grocery store, you got to live your life. You can't stay secluded. What is he, Michael Jackson? What are you talking about? Is he like Michael Jordan? I mean, anyway, I digress because I am a simpleton, and that's what we do here. Nick is saying to the caller, to our last caller, I had the wrong name. He said I was talking about Chris Donald and not Chris Walker. So that's Derek Dooley noted. I do remember Chris Donald.
He's a 5-star.
Yes, he was. Hey, a lot of those high-level guys. And Ben says Peyton and Eli are two of the most famous people on the planet. Matthew McConaughey's going to tell this kid, and literally giving an interview talking about how, what I've done here. I mean, how much you got to think of yourself, taking yourself, how seriously, what I'm doing is I'm working with Arch, and I'm gonna tell him how to live with fame. This thing's hard. Yeah, the Mannings have been living in that.
Is that their version of Coach Keith? That's Texas's Coach Keith, right?
Yes, in a word.
Except they've given him like an official title. And
correct.
Like
he's the ambassador.
I wonder what that fan base thinks of him in that, because that seems really just way over the top.
Let me see this. It rhymes with oosh and it begins with a D. That's what they think of him. But ladies and germs, boys and girls, children of all ages, on a day where all lines are jammed, I will say to you that my VIP play parlay last night with Chase Burns, as well, he faced another former Vol, Garrett Crochet. It got blowed up in the first inning. My guy got one out and gave up 7 runs, and ladies and gentlemen, that's why they call it gambling. And I guess that's why they call it the blues. But you don't have to have the blues. You go claim your VIP play welcome bonus today. Make a bet, $5 or more. And here we are in July. I'm going to announce the winner of the June prize here momentarily. But remember, the VIP play sweepstakes in full effect for the month of July. Every bet you make, entries into the VIP Players Club sweepstakes, where you get 1 entry per bet, 1 entry per dollar bet, 10 times your entries on parlays and same-game parlays. And remember, daily profit boosts on Major League Baseball, 3 picks or more, We do have up on the futures with Tennessee, the NFL, and if there's a bet in the 200-plus leagues you can bet on, like with Wimbledon and stuff like that going on. Buddy of mine was betting on darts on there the other day. I'm not making that up. If you can't find the bet you want, reach out to my man, Killer Kowalski, who's the odds maker, and he'll put something together for you. VIP play, where everybody's treated like a VIP. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789. 21 and over in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. VIP play. We are going to go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. Fired up, focused, prepared with you. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, Dave. Welcome in.
You know, I'm getting excited about this season, but the thing that I go back to is Tennessee doesn't have any experience on the offensive side of the ball. They don't have any experience. And they're going to struggle, especially early in the season. They've got 4 or 5 upperclassmen, and they're too deep.
I got rain clouds.
I just,
on a sunny day.
That's the part. And the Mississippi State game, I thought for sure win on the road.
When it's warm outside, I got the caller, Dave.
Well, I'm just being a realist.
My Dave. Hey, Matt, what do you say to Dave on Pause Tuesday? Dave didn't get the memo. What do you say to him, Matt?
No, I see where he's coming from. I think the 10-2 talk is. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's crazy, but I just don't see that with this team. I'm glad we feel that way.
I was trying to be positive,
but yeah, at Mississippi State's not a for sure win. I mean, I'm not even sure Syracuse is a for sure win with our quarterback questions.
Yep.
I mean, it's a game you should win, but it's not some guarantee.
Dave is right.
So I kind of lean towards Dave's side on this one.
Dave is
compared
right.
to the 10-2 call.
I was trying to be positive about 20 minutes ago. You ripped me for it.
I ripped you, Bri? That's never happened here, man.
Said they might have a chance to win at Florida. And, well.
Brian, Dave's got us in a coin flip with Mississippi State, and you're talking about winning at Florida? Brian, when's the last time the Vols won at Florida?
2003.
2003.
Right. Thank you very little. Get back to me when that happens. Till then, that game is what you call a loss. Even on Positive Tuesday, I can't do that. Can't do that, Dave.
They were bad.
They've sucked for 2 decades. We've invented ways to lose. Yo, that was so bad. That Saturday night game was so bad. So bad. It was embarrassing. Come on, guys. We're going to get down there and win all of a sudden? You got to be kidding me.
And we even jumped out to a 7-0 lead, and it was downhill after that.
Hey, Dave, we lost to them one year when they lost to Georgia Southern and Vanderbilt. Okay? Come on now. Let's stop. I mean, look, I love Pazza Tuesday. Don't tell me you're going to go to Florida and win. Okay? Just don't do that. I love you. I love you. Love your show.
And
come on now.
And it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is.
No, it doesn't matter who the head coach is. That's the other thing. This thing is Florida exists to torture us. That's why they exist. Kind of like the caller Florida. No offense.
It's just, I hope Joey Aguirre plays decent this year so we can have a winning record, 7, 8 wins. I hope.
Hey, Dave,
but there's no guarantee he's gonna be the quarterback all year. I can see
Orange Blood.
We're rotating quarterback.
Oh God, Dave. Orange Blood on over on YouTube. Our YouTube at Tony Basilio channel, which is hilarious, by the way, said, because you can watch and do the show. People are doing it on their televisions. He says that your walk-up music ought to be "I Wish It Would Rain." We're staying in the Motown theme.
Well, I don't know. I just, hope for the best.
Dave, what do you think of Dave? What do you think of
what
what the baseball team's done in the portal so far? I want to hear you say something positive.
Oh, I'm not even worried about Tony Vitale. They're going to be winners. Period. I mean, the guy. Look at his track record. I mean, when they put the team on the field this year, they'll make postseason. They have a chance to host. They're going to be right up there in the top of college baseball rankings. I'm not worried about. Are you worried about Tony
Hell
Vitale?
no. Matt says we don't have left-handers right now. He'll get some. There will be left-hand arms out of that bullpen that will bring in the noise. I'll tell you what they did this past year is they got caught. And he's like Roger Daltrey. He ain't going to get fooled again.
Yeah, because he got nothing out of this. He hardly got anything out of
he
his
ain't getting fooled again. He ain't getting fooled again.
And but I'm not. Look how far they still went to the Super Regional.
Yep.
They were ranked number 1 for several weeks.
Dave, my favorite thing about you last year was that face turn you made during basketball season. I'll never forget that. When you turned baby face, you came out in the bright colors and announced to the world that you were here. What must have been going through like your wife's mind when you were over there turning baby face on the show?
Trust me, she doesn't care. She goes to the bedroom when I'm watching games.
Dave, I love you. You're my man. Thank you. That's a little TMI for me, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there, or is it there? Maybe it's here.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
It's a huge week of celebrations with your Knoxville Smokies. Looking for the best 4th of July fireworks in town? Well, look no more. Join your Smokies on Friday and Saturday for the best and brightest fireworks show in East Tennessee. Let's celebrate America's birthday with America's favorite pastime. But we aren't finished there. Sunday is our day game of the week, the perfect way to close out the holiday weekend. Let the celebrations begin. We'll see you this weekend.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, High Branch Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been the trusted and preferred name for over 70,000 Knoxville locals. Looking for expert plumbing services and HVAC services, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. Voted Best Plumber in Knoxville and one of Knoxville's best HVAC companies 7 years in a row. High Branch is a fully licensed mechanical contractor and committed to excellence and craftsmanship, so you can trust our certified experts to go above and beyond to meet your plumbing and HVAC needs, no matter what problem arises. We also make it easy with transparent pricing, free on-site estimates for replacements, and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans, including 0% financing when credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Branch at 865-264-8090 or look online at pipebranch.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Tony B back with you as we're back with you. Get ready to close the show on the radio side. We're going to continue our conversation in earnest here on TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, as all calls have appeared on our TLD Logistics hotline. On the way out today, I want to wish best of luck to Wes Rucker, who's tweeted out today that his time at 247 has come to an end. And here's hoping that Wes lands on his feet in his next chapter. And anybody in this business, you stick around long enough, you're going to go through that. And so from one vet to another, Wes, you will land on your feet, and God has a plan for you. So keep looking up, my brother. To the radio listener, I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. It's utterly incredible that you would spend a minute with us, let alone ample time, on a beautiful July day here in the city of soon-to-be champions and everything. It's the everything city. It's America's college sports city. It's hotter than blue blazes outside. It's hotter than the 4th of July. We love you. We appreciate you. Peace. G to the B to the O. Take Beano. By the way, tomorrow, Exy will be in the house. We'll be talking some recruiting. Let's get woolly up in here, shall we? And there goes my voice. Appreciate you. The conversation continues at tclub.team.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Wow.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Damn it, Laura, what did I do? What did I do?
And now let's go to the guys with today's edition of TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime.
So I'm doing Georgie Boy's plaster show later today. Laura said, Tony, you've been kind of dragging something around for like a month. No overtime rest of the week. It's July 4th week. Now, Matt, are you going to explain to her that we got 3 calls on hold and thousands listening? I mean, what am I supposed to do here?
I gotta take that next call.
Brian? What do you think we ought to do, Brian? I'm like losing my voice, too. What do you think we ought to do, Brian?
Well, let's take a call and hope for the best.
And I'm getting hiccups now. Oh, man. I don't know if I've ever gotten hiccups when I'm on the air. Has that ever happened to me, Brian?
It's been a while since I've gotten hiccups.
Oh.
Maybe it's all the water.
Let's go to the phones. Let's get our next call in. Orange Blood said, let's see, 50 years of losing to Florida. 3 wins in Gainesville since 1971. Sure. Yeah. Brian has that game firmly in play, Matt. The Vols favored to win it. Why not?
I saw a line that says Florida -3, so somebody thinks it's a pick 'em or it's a toss-up if it's -3.
Usually Brian sides with history on these types of deals. He's usually the big history guy.
Brian, I saw...
So it's really interesting. He must have a gut feel for this one.
And I saw a bumper sticker, Brian, like 1987 that said crack is whack. So let's go back to the phones and get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, Matt, Brian, Joshy Boy.
There he is. Joshy Boy, that watermelon, and I didn't get the diamond gusset.
Yeah.
That watermelon that I got last night from my local Kroger out of Cincinnati, Ohio, the Queen City. And I'm a watermelon connoisseur, brother, right now. That might be the greatest thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh, okay, nice. That's good.
It's a great piece of fruit, man. Do you know how to get the crunchy ones, Joshy Boy? Do you know how to do it?
Do you go to the Kroger near your house most of the time?
I go to the one that you work at, Joshy Boy, where you reign supreme. And I'm going to ask you.
Oh, I'm flattered.
You're what?
I'm flattered, Tony.
What's that mean, slider?
I'm happy that you do.
Oh, flattered. Okay. No, I wouldn't go anywhere else. So we drive extra minutes to come to yours. Now, here's my question for you.
That's good.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
What is the telltale sign to get a crunchy watermelon? How do you do it? Because Laura's really bad at it. I need you, a la Matthew McConaughey, to sort of take her under wing on how to select a proper watermelon. Hit it.
Here's a few ways that you can tell how you get a crunchy watermelon, okay? First off, look for the yellow spot. Check the underside where the watermelon rested on the ground. A creamy yellow or orange yellow filled spot indicates ripeness, which contributes to a crisp texture. A white or pale spot suggests it's underripe. Check the stripes.
So you got to check the stripes and then the color underneath. Now, because I've been told that if it, in fact, underneath, okay, where you can see where it's grew on the ground, because it grows from a vine on the ground.
Yeah.
If you see that thing is like really, really, really long, that's a sign that it might be overripe and not.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And you tap and listen. Give it a firm tap or knock. A rough watermelon produces a deep hollow sound like a drum.
Yeah, you're on top of this, Joshua boy. You're really on top of this.
He's a damn expert.
You're an expert.
That's why I can't. And I'm gonna tell you something. I seen Joshua boy in there. He ain't playing no games.
All right, Tony. Right now on Vol Report, they released early Tennessee football betting lines. Tennessee minus 12.5 in the first game. Tennessee plus 7 against Georgia week 3.
That's correct.
Tennessee plus 12 at Alabama, and like Bronny said, Tennessee plus 3 against Florida.
Look, I would say that Alabama game is going to be the hardest game on the schedule.
Yes.
It just is.
Right.
And look, again, I don't know what kind of player Ty Simpson's going to be, but Alabama's still got a very good team.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to the playoffs this year. I don't know who's going to go with them from this league, but Alabama's going to go. I believe that. And by the way, they're recruiting like their damn hair's on fire right now.
Yeah, they are.
So
Tony,
we'll see what happens.
Tony, Brian, Matt, which of those big three, Florida, Bama, Georgia, do you think Tennessee can keep it between single digits this year?
What do you got, Matt?
Florida would be my pick for theirs, the game that's most winnable.
Yep. I agree with that, Matt. The trouble with the Florida thing, though, is if the game's close late, classical conditioning tells me that we're not making the play late. Now, maybe Joey Football fills that void. Maybe Joey Football says, no, I will not succumb. I'm going to be like Casey Clausen on the road.
Yeah. What about you, Tony? Which game do you think Tennessee could keep in?
I think Matt's right. I think Matt's right.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, Tony, out of the 3 running backs, Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop and the kid from Duke, which one of those 3 do you think will probably start the year as running back 1?
I'd have no idea. I think the kid from Carnes, Bishop, could be a really nice player. The problem he's had is he can't stay healthy. They like him a lot. The Lewis kid, well, you know what's weird to me, Matt? Why can't we attract, and I'm not knocking the 3 guys that are there, but why can't we attract a high-end home run hitter in that offense when it's built for running backs?
It's a good question, especially through the portal, because it seems like there's not a lot of high-end, like 5-star running backs out of high school anymore. They're just not ranked very high because they've been devalued in the NFL. But it is surprising you haven't been able to land either higher high school recruits or and especially through the portal, a more proven, established guy. It is interesting, but your production hasn't dropped off regardless of who's been back there, which is interesting.
Which is another thing,
I
right?
think Bishop's the RB1, but like you said, he's had trouble staying healthy. I think Peyton Lewis has the most upside of those guys, and we'll see if he can do that. I think he's battled some injuries too, and even showed up with an injury to campus last year. So we'll see if he can stay healthy. But you definitely need at least 3 guys you can count on for the wear and tear of the season. But it's really been a plug and play position for Tennessee under Heupel, which is, I guess, in a way a good thing. But you kind of wonder what would happen if you had one of those premier backs.
How fun would that be to see one of those run away from people guys out
That'd be
there?
Really fun,
right?
Really fun.
It's kind of like that wide receiver thing. That wide receiver thing doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Until you start hearing people say that they don't think that offense prepares people for pro football. And until we have a guy come out of this system that plays at a high level there, that's going to hang on the program. Just the truth.
Tony, Tony, was Rusty saying the Mississippi State and Kentucky game, was he saying both of those are a coin toss or probably definitely a win?
Oh, I don't know. I think the point of his call was that we just don't know about the season. And,
right.
The Mississippi State game's not going to be a walkover for us. Since when is at Mississippi State a walkover for our school?
I'm like Matt. I put the Syracuse game in that conversation as well because on any given Saturday, any team can be beat, and we've known Heupel's track record going on the road in the past few seasons. He drops his stinkers, so I'm counting
that's right.
that Mississippi State game as a coin toss game.
It's I hope his stinker's not Kentucky. Did you guys see they got the General Lee out and jumped it over some thing up in northern Kentucky, Matt? Did you see that happened over the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was was it Somerset maybe?
And what do you think of
that?
What do you think of that, Matt? What do you think of taking the General Lee and jumping it?
The General Lee got higher than Will Levis's deep ball at Kentucky. Yeah. So
or the guy, the Sixers, the guy that who was a much higher off the floor than Sheboy ever could. Sorry, Jimmy Dykes.
Sheboy. Yeah.
Sheboy looked like he was stuck to the damn ground.
Yeah, he did.
Go.
Tony, out the door, do you care if I rip Brother Bino?
No, rip him. Somebody's asking me on the YouTube, the Tony Basilio YouTube channel. They said, is Bino the guy that bet on darts over the weekend? No.
Probably so.
No, it's not. No, it wasn't Bino.
Hey, Bino, I know you didn't answer my call after the Yankees lost last night. You were probably too busy crying, big boy, because Aaron Judge, he strikes out too much. He is not a clutch player. He only hits solo home runs when it doesn't matter. Your Yankees suck this year. See ya.
Bino, you need to answer your phone so that doesn't happen on here again. And Sam Schrock, I love you and I love your show, but listen, man, the wide receiver argument is not dumb. We're in year 5 with this guy, and he's not finding wide receivers. And he's not getting high-end guys like we thought he was going to get when we had the Blitnikoff Award winner. Now, if that pricks your ear and you don't like that inconvenient truth, I didn't do it. And by the way, Pete Carroll said they had to go back and look at film for Dante Thornton from his Oregon days to see if he could play in that league. It's not a dumb argument. Don't call that that's not dumb. We're dealing in facts. And Tennessee needs somebody out of this program to get in that league and to dispel that. Or it's going to keep getting repeated in recruiting. I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're new to the show or old to the show, but I didn't do it, buddy. Matt, is that not the truth? Because that's exactly, he said it's a recruiting ploy. No, actually, it's a fact right now. It's actually a fact that they have to overcome.
Yeah, but it's not a new fact. I mean, it's been the case with these wide split offenses going back to Art Briles at Baylor. None of his wide receivers did anything in the pros either, coming from that offense.
Pretty interesting.
And they had some high round, like they had at least one first round pick come out of there who literally was not even in the NFL like 2 years later. So that is an issue with this offense, but that's been the case for well over a decade. So it's not something new. It's just something they have to overcome in recruiting, but it's certainly true. I just think when Thornton made those comments, they kind of got overblown a little bit because he didn't say anything that's new. It's just this offense there's not a lot that translates from this offense to the NFL, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is something you have to overcome. I guess in today's age, you just throw a little bit more NIL money at somebody, and that can make that go away. But it is a fair thing to say, but it's not a new argument, and it's not something that just popped up here the last couple of years. It's been the case with the wide split offenses and receivers for, going back to when Art Briles started running it at Baylor.
Let's go back to our phones. 865-200-5402. My point is, it would help to have some success, especially in this league where so much of it, at this league, when Art Briles in this league, it's predicated on putting people in the NFL. It's just how the league is, and I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Trust me. It's kind of like Rick Barnes. Brian Hartman made a really good point on Friday. The reason that Lanier got drafted and the reason that Meshack got drafted is pretty simple. When those guys play for Rick Barnes, he has credibility in that league. His credibility. Meshack's one of his guys now. And that helps you so much in recruiting when the time comes. Because this money is going to be fairly competitive. Most of these guys are thinking about the next step. And comparing the money you make in college to the money you make at the NFL level, that's dimes to dollars. It's like small potatoes. Even for the high-end guys. I mean, it's hard for us to grasp that. I still think you have to have some come out in the wash on the other side. So maybe if Thornton can stay healthy, maybe he's a guy that can do it. But let's go to the phones and get our next call in, because it is perplexing to me how lost our Blitnikoff Award winner got in New York. And I mean, he got lost. But maybe, Matt, looking back on it, it shouldn't be so surprising because we just lined him up and threw the ball long to him, right? That's kind of what we did. And
yeah, we lined him up in the slot and
he was excellent.
We did some of the unique stuff with the releases and all that, but yeah, he didn't do a lot of what he did didn't translate to the NFL.
Yes,
which it's what makes Heupel's offense unique and an advantage most of the time when you have the players to run it. But it is something that becomes an issue for the NFL guys. But you've got to have guys produce to be in the NFL to begin with. So it's at least a good problem to have.
Back to the phones we go. I mean, he cites like Terrell Owens came from UTC. Hey, Sam, newsflash. The NFL is going to find football players if you can play. I'm talking about getting them in. At a place like this, you've got to have some come out in the wash if you want to get them in the front door. Why do you think Rodney Garner has great defensive linemen every year? Would you like me to help you out with that? Because for 30 years, 25 years, 27, 28 years, he's been producing unbelievable players at that position. I'm talking, Matt, Rodney Garner might be one of the most underrated position coaches in the country. Now that we've watched his handiwork here at his second stop at this place. You might be talking about one of the most underrated coaches in the country, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's the best defensive line coach in the modern era of the SEC. And I really don't think there's a close second.
And he gets zero credit. Zero credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the phones.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's one of the secret sauces of this deal, especially in a year like last year where your offense struggled. The way he has a true 2 deep that he can go to, and really in some spots they can go 3 deep and not really drop off. It's impressive. It's the best unit on the team by far.
You want to talk about making the playoffs? Have 11 guys you can rotate in a high-level Southeastern Conference game. 11. The Pierce guy, here's a little inconvenient truth, didn't have a very good season last year. Tennessee still made the playoffs with an offense that was, like average on dry ice. Ronnie Garner can do it. He can flat out do it. Let's get our next call in. Hi, you're on the air. TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. Hey, man, welcome in.
Hey, brother. Bobby. Man, you just nailed that. And by the way, I'd say the second best defensive line coach / recruiter in the modern era of SEC football, or at least the last 25 years, is probably Ed Ogeron. And if that's true, does that mean if Rodney Garner never gotten a shake at a decent program as a head coach, he could have won a national title as a head coach? I think so.
I mean, Orgeron walked into a cart, took over a program, automobile going 110 miles an hour, and made it go 170. But I'll tell you this about him: that divorce settlement and that thing with his wife is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
God love him.
He's clawing back. She clawed back $8 million on him, and he can get him some of that.
Yeah. Do you think he even realizes it? Honestly, I mean, is he smart enough to realize he lost a lawsuit?
He's an absolute goofball.
$8 million is a lot of money, but I think they paid him like $40 million to go away.
I remember when he was here, and I remember being around him after one of those scrimmages and seeing him grunt and groan. And I'm telling you, I didn't understand a word that cat said when he started grunting and groaning.
I mean, through all the Red Bull and cocaine, I mean, he was a relentless recruiter. I'll give him that.
It was Red Bull.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just Red Bull. So the thing, there was a guy yesterday, Randy, he was on Twitter or something, had mentioned something about Joey Football did it against lower competition. I'm not going to sit here and stump that Joey Football is about to take down Georgia this year. I'm not going to do that. But I will say this. In our 6 games that mattered the most last year, and to me that was Oklahoma, that was Alabama, Florida, Ohio State, and then there were 2 more that I think were kind of losable. I just blanked on who else I put together. Let's say, Arkansas, and that'd be it. Let's just say those 5 games. You know how many touchdowns he had in those games, Tony? Our quarterback? How many touchdowns did our quarterback have in those games last year?
What's your guess, Matt? When you throw those games together, the swingers.
Maybe 6, 8. I mean,
what's the number?
That's pretty reasonable. Ohio State, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas. Oh, Arkansas was the other one because we lost it, and Oklahoma. So in those 6 games, he had exactly 2 touchdowns passing. 1, 2. He had 2, and he had 2 interceptions. Is that a good? Oh, and by the way, he didn't have over 200 yards in any of those games passing, and in any of those games, he never had more than 47 yards rushing. Is that any good?
Nico Nerf.
I mean, I sincerely am calling out that guy and saying, hey, look, I'm fine with you saying Joey Football didn't play against anybody last year. Those were the only games that mattered, and Nico padded his stats in the other games. He had 19 touchdowns. That means he had 17 touchdowns against the other hapless 7 teams or 8 teams. Yeah, 7 teams we played last year.
Well,
and he had 2 in games that mattered, really mattered.
At the end of the day, I look back at Nico, and I'm now more convinced of this than ever. And Russ, you might have hit on this, might have hit a really good point. When your father is that heavy-handed on you and in your life, like in your face all the time and won't let you breathe, how are you going to run your football team? I'm going to go back to something that somebody told me at Tennessee before he transferred. And that's that it's a shame that he left, because the 3 weeks that the dad was away before they came back and pulled their stunt, the kid was as comfortable here around his teammates that he had been since he got here. And I think that's a telling. If you talk to people around Tennessee's program, they'll tell you that that's true. And I just think that's really telling. I think his father is obviously he means well for his son. And I'm not here to tell anybody how to parent a kid. I'm not. But he obviously is a suffocating influence on that kid when you hear things like that. And now he's going to get a full dose of it because he's around him 24/7. There's no escaping. Even though they live on the other side of town, You know, Crazy Nick's going to be at that. Going to have the Nation of
I'll be
3000
at every
over there.
practice.
And the Nation of 3000 will get lost in that place. His 3,000 family members, I mean, they'll be able to sit in those stands and nobody even know they're there.
Oh, my God. That's so great. Actually, nobody will ever know they're there because there's going to be the only 3,000 people at those games, so they won't know that they're all related, right?
Yes.
Well, I still don't harbor any animosity towards Nico, the young man. I don't at all. But I also wanted to call out what is worth being called out, and that is he had no 200-yard games, and in the 6 most important games of our season last year, he had 2 touchdowns passing. Yeah, I think he had 2 rushing or maybe 3 rushing touchdowns, and as many turnovers. Like, that's – so what are we replacing? Like, if we and we went to the playoffs last year. I think our schedule is easier than it was last year. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I do believe it's actually easier than it was last year.
Oh, I think it's a lot
easier.
easier.
To say,
yeah, that schedule.
Yeah,
the more I look at it,
our schedule is garbage.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We don't know. The kid from Oklahoma might be an absolute revelation and might rip it up. I mean, we have no. That's the thing about this college football thing is, we have no idea year to year who has what and where and how it's going to develop. But you do bring up a great point, which is, on paper right now, that thing looks like a complete joke. But you never know. Those 9 wins that we're all counting, there might be a couple teams in there that are going to rise up. Did anybody think Vanderbilt was going to beat Alabama last year? I think he's going to be, he's back with Vanderbilt love again. You know, Matt, but it's true, right? Did anybody think Kentucky was going to keep Ole Miss out of the playoffs last year? Did anybody 1 year ago think that South Carolina was going to scratch? Did you, Matt, in a million years think South Carolina was going to scratch and claw and get themselves right on the precipice of a playoff berth? I mean, Matt, we're talking about South Carolina and the playoffs.
Oh, no, not at all. There's always the crazy upsets. I mean, Tennessee lost at Arkansas last year and still made the playoffs. And that was one of the easier games on the schedule going into the season. And they were a lot better than expected. So, you know, it's just, yeah, with the uncertainty with the portal and how you just, especially this year, because it seems like the quarterback, there's so many quarterback questions with all the teams at the top. There's just, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
That's right. I mean, I really believe that Alabama is, if they had a good, solid quarterback, the best team in the league. But I don't know what kind of quarterback play they have. And look, I'm not alone. Because when you look at those odds that somebody mentioned earlier, it's a 1.5 score game, us and them. I'm not alone in that. I mean, that's what the numbers say. That this Alabama team, get one more in here before we lose our voice. Hello, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Yoshi-hee-ho.
There he is. What's up, my man?
What's going on?
How you doing, my brother, on the highways and byways? My man Josh, making it possible, making it happen every day.
Dodge and Subarus. I don't see Georgia or Florida or Alabama in the cards this year. Tony, I wish I could be more hopeful, but
hey, one thing I like about these young kids, and somebody mentioned this earlier on YouTube, one of these old heads like us, when you're young, you don't have all that spirit-destroying past to deal with. You can still magically think, Josh, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's true.
Like there are young kids out there that think your Atlanta Braves tonight are going to catch fire. You and I know different.
Okay, here we go.
Well, no. Listen. There are young kids that think hang on. There are young kids that think my Phillies are going to win the World Series this year. My Phillies are going to go right to the playoffs, and they're going to shit the bed just like they have the last couple of years because they don't hit the baseball. I mean, I'm not dumb.
Yeah, I wish we'd just go ahead and fold. I don't know. They give you just a little bit of hope.
I keep it real. I would trade if I were the Phillies. I'd trade Schwarber at the deadline. Start over.
Tony, I heard you talking about Florida. What's your most painful Florida memory? What year?
I was down there for the 99 game when Jamal Lewis got his helmet dented. That happened right in front of me. I was standing on the sidelines next to Max Howe, Bride. You remember the old, what was Max Howe's show called, Bride, back in the day? Conference Call. Is that right? Am I remembering that?
Yeah. Yeah, the West Coast version of Conference Call. The SEC West conference calls.
I was standing right next to him. We were watching that, and that was the night that somebody was out there. I guess their defensive end was Alex Brown.
Alex Brown.
We made him several $1 million that night, right?
He looked like Reggie White. Yeah, unblockable.
And never helped him. He sat there and went one-on-one. And you know what? That's what the Florida game is. I was also there the day in 97 when Manning, who never did this, threw that ball in the traffic.
35 to 14 or something.
No, that was the 95
game. 97?
No, 97.
No, 95. 95.
97 was the game when he threw the ball in the middle of the field in traffic, and that Tony George guy, who I think is Eddie George's cousin, took it back for a touchdown, and we were right near him watching him run down the sidelines, and I'm just
God.
This ain't for me, you know?
I was over there when Casey Clausen fumbled like 7 snaps
in the rain.
First half.
In the rain.
That one sucked. And, 4th and Jancic, when we blocked each other, we had just had a 4th down, 1 stop. That one sucked. I don't know. I don't know, Tony. I have no clue how this season's going to go, man. Absolutely no clue. I can't say I'm excited about getting another buddy on the coaching staff. I don't want to be pissed at Heupel either. I mean, all the guy does is win 9-10 games, so I don't know. It's a weird feeling this year for some reason. The Nico thing kind of soured it a little, but
well, we all have a decision to make in this era now, because that Nico thing's going to start happening more often as long as there's a spring portal, because these teams are going to hold these schools, they're going to hold their feet to the fire. Now, we all have a decision to make in this day and age. The whole NIL thing, it doesn't bother me one bit. I mean, I'm still enjoying the sport same way
it doesn't bother me either, Tony.
No.
I blame Heupel more in this Nico thing than I do Nico.
Tell me about it.
He transferred to 3 or 4 different high schools, and his damn dad's a nutcase. You got to know these things, man. You got to know who you're recruiting.
That's a really good point. Matt, your main beat here, okay, and you've seen it up close. Do you think Tony Vitello ever gets involved with Nico?
No, I don't think so. Just because that's the one thing I would like to know is when Heupel knew that there was this circus around the kid. It was probably too late to do anything. But, I mean, it's just your quarterback can't be that guy. You can't have off-the-field drama with a quarterback.
And the saddest thing about it, Josh,
face your program.
I think the calculation they made, nobody's told me this, but this would make sense to me. I think the calculation Tennessee made at that point, Josh, was once we get him here, all the nuttiness is going to subside. We'll put up with the Haslams flying him in to Farragut to go play football in his pajamas, and him busting a rhyme with the rapper Andy and this, that, and the other, the fun stuff that went with that. But I think the expectation was that these people are, eventually gonna go away, because that's what happens with most families. But man, we're in a different era now, and here's what Tony does. I just know he does this. He'll take his sister or somebody else, and they sit in the player section where the parents are when he's scouting these games with these young kids. And if the parents act nuts, he ain't playing with them. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, that's a good strategy.
That's a great strategy. Because he ego
I
stands
think
in the outfield.
values these physical traits too much, Tony.
But what's weird about it is
the big arms.
But the guys
just because his offense where you line up way far outside, I think he puts too much value on the huge arms and
what's crazy
not
though
enough on the mental.
Hey, Matt, speak to this. At Central Florida, he didn't have like knockout athletes out there at quarterback at Central Florida. Now the Gabriel kid was pretty good, but he didn't have like
a good player.
It's a damn good player. Damn good player. But some of the other guys, Matt, that were really successful for him there, and just guys that have had the kid at Missouri, he kind of made him. Just a weird deal, man. Because what's strange is the thing I can't get over with Heupel is, and it's why his era is so interesting so far, is that he saw Hendon Hooker and said, "This guy can't run my system." He inherited him and saw him and said and the guy was lights out in the system. Lights out.
Yeah, what worries me too, Tony, is this year, Aguilar, he seems like a competitive kid, and he's going to try to make plays.
Yep.
And he may turn the ball over a little bit, and I think Heupel has got there's something about him that will dial it way back, and he will not be as aggressive. And I think when Golis left, a lot of that no-fear attitude walked out the door. And if Aguilar turns it over, I don't want to watch another year of defensive football. I want the offense to be free and play. Because last year, even though we won a lot of games, it was torturous at times watching the offense play.
I thought it was interesting. I thought Heupel, and people have said this, he gets a lot of credit for me because he really showed me something last year. Because going into last year, I thought he was all about his numbers, Matt, and getting his stuff in. And he proved last year he wasn't. Because they pivoted in that Oklahoma game, and they never went back, Matt. And that is pretty laudable. It was hard to watch compared to what we were used to. But that is laudable, Matt. Because a lot of coaches would have continued to beat their head against the wall and try to run up their numbers, and he didn't do that.
But Butch Jones would have went 7-5 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have done the same thing. It says a lot about Heupel's growth as a head coach, and I think it's a good thing. But ultimately, if you're going to compete and win playoff games, it's going to be behind a dynamic offense that Heupel has had in the past. So you've got to find a way to marry it. But I do think he found a way to play complementary football last year. We talked about the hurry up and how they were like dead last in time of possession for like 3 years running, and their defense is just on the field for like a game and a half more than their offense is. And over the course of a season, I think that affects your team some. So you found a way to balance that out a little bit, but you've got to find that dynamic offense again to kind of and marry it with that defense. So, but no, I do think Heupel showed a lot as a head coach, even though Heupel as the offensive coordinator and play caller, it felt like took a kind of a big step back.
Josh, you're the man. Anything else for us here on the way out? And great phone call, buddy. Always good to hear from you.
Nah, that's it. Y'all take care. Hang in there. See you guys.
Love you, brother. Hey, be safe out there. He's one of my trucking heroes, which leads me to this. My friends at TLD Logistics, part of an industry that keeps America moving and allows us to live at the level that we live in our country, the things you take for granted. Those truckers, those guys and gals out there on the road, make it possible every day. Make it possible every day. And I love them. And I want to thank my friends at TLD Logistics. Play a large part in that game. For all your shipping needs, check them out at tldlogistics.com. If you are an owner-operator or want to be, they could set you up. If you're looking for a new opportunity, maybe you're feeling squirrely or jumpy, Reach out to them. Don't end up at UCLA of trucking. I don't want you to do that with Nico Nerfball. Nico Nerfball is the only thing I come up with off the top of my head today, Matt, but we have Joey Football and Nico Nerfball. I don't know what to do. Nico Nerf.
Well, you've beat it into the ground today, so I anticipate that lasting through the football season.
I mean, can we come up with something better?
It's a good line. I like it.
Nico Nerf Levia. Nico, let's come up with something Polynesian here. Hang on. This is kind of politically incorrect here, but let's pivot. Let's reverse pivot here on the show. Okay, there we go. That's Matt accusing me of beating into the ground. Interesting.
Bingo card.
Polynesian names. Polynesian names. All right, let's see if we can come up with something that ties into the nation of Polynesia, which I love, by the way, the Polynesian players. I am for the Polynesian players, not against them. Moana, Manala, Aleki, Alawani. I need something that begins with an N. Nico Nerf. Because they're rich in meaning. Nico Nerf. Nico Nerf Kayana? Bri, what do you think of that? Nico Nerf Poe?
Nico Nerf Teo?
Nico Nerf Teo? I'm looking for pollen. This sucks. What this list I'm on?
Nico Manti?
Let's see here. Polynesian names. All right, here we go. BehindTheName.com. Let me get down to the ends. H-I-J-K. A lot of K names in the Polynesians. M-N. Let's see if we can find one that goes with N, and maybe we can tag him. Okay. Nani means beauty and glory in Hawaii. So how about Nico Nerf Nani? That's so stupid. That is so dumb.
Laura about to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Nico Nerf Noah. Noah is Croatian, Hawaiian, and French. Nico Nerf Noani means heaven's mist. Nico Nerf Nagalo. Nah, it's too. I need a suggestion on the Nico Nerf thing. We got to come up with because Nico Nerf Ball doesn't. Because we have Joey Football and Nico Nerf Ball. Do they still make Nerf balls, guys? You guys see them at all?
I'm sure they do. Surely that hasn't gone out of style.
I love the Nerf ball.
I would assume they make Nerf balls.
I love the Nerf ball as a kid, man.
Nerf the ones balls with the tail, the like blue and orange ones with the tails.
Oh, those were so
like
illiterate.
The whistling sound.
Yeah, you could throw those. The ones with the tail, and then there was the about 15 years or 20 years ago or so, they had the one ball, Matt, that had like the rocket tail on it. You could grab it and throw it.
Yeah, and then they had the ones that glow in the dark where you can play at night out in the street.
There
which
you
I
go.
guess they might have got rid of those now because nobody plays outside anymore. But
sideline bust 'em up, glow in the darks.
Yeah.
Well, boys, thanks.
Yeah. Surely Nerf stuff hadn't gone out of style.
We need the MLS. We need to bring some MLS talk back.
You know, maybe Nico guys can get an NIL deal with Nerf.
Yeah, you've already got the nickname for him.
Maybe this will lead to
maybe the Philadelphia Union will sign him.
Somebody needs to get up with Big Nick. What'd you think of the Freeze kid, Bri? Is that tomorrow night in the Gold Cup?
That's Wednesday night. Yes.
Who do we play?
They play. I think it's Guatemala at 7:00.
The Freeze kid came out of the Union's Academy, and much love to you boys. By the way, Bri, you'll be glad to know that 35% of that current team came out of the Union's Academy. If you all want to crack on my Philadelphia Union, they're the gold standard. Brah.
Too bad nobody got to see him on Apple TV.
Huh. Talk about a damn hater. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, I'll see you on Plaster Show in a couple of hours. My name's Tony. I love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. We support you. Thank you. Great calls today. Incredible. Thank you. All right, we're going to run the show back for the uninitiated here. It's coming right back at you on many of these same stations in some way, shape, or form, or fashion. And let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Those two. You know what this means, right? I got to confess a couple things to you. First of all, happy July 1. You know what this means, right? Last month of 2025 till we have college football season. I don't know if you're aware of that. Laura told me several weeks back, she said, you really ought to take this week off. And I told her, I don't ever take time off, so why would I take this week off? So I'm asking Matt and Bri today in our pre-production meeting that we have each and every day before we jump on here. This is not just done nilly-willy. If you go look, our blog today has several thousand words. We're getting ready to report on some commitments that our recruiting bureau thinks is coming. X was supposed to join us today, but is now indisposed. He sends his regards. Maybe tomorrow we'll visit with our Tennessee football recruiting analyst, a.k.a. Sexy Exy. But I want to encourage you to go over to tclub.team. I also would like to encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. Today on the blog, you'll see that Robert Kowalski, who's the odds maker for VIP play, and a guy who knows his stuff. This is a guy that has done some, all the odds makers in Vegas do a thing where they pick games by the spread. He won it 2 years ago. He was up high last year. This guy knows his stuff now. And he was going to join us today, but he can't because it's the season of the sticks, and I forgot that you exist, and so here we are. Brian Hartman and Matt Dixon are here. We're going to break it down scientifically with you.